After the battle, Logan traveled to the capital city of Grand. Just as he arrives at the gate, someone is waiting for him, his father-in-law, who tells Logan that he had heard about his victory 4 days ago. Logan gets down from his horse and looks at the man. He thanks him for meeting him there. Seeing Logan, Count Floyd smiles. In the back, Eileen blushes. Ronian laughs at her, and Victor is just clueless. Count Floyd tells Logan that his story has spread to the capital, so not even the royal guards will try to stop him there. And Logan says that if this is the case, then they should set off to take care of what's left. Finally, Logan has reached the Grandia residence. Looking up, Logan says the kingdom's civil war was the biggest hurdle he had to overcome since his regression, and now the McLains have overcome that obstacle. A lot has changed these past 3 years, but still, Logan cannot be complacent with this victory. There's another hurdle to surpass there. The conquest wars of the Empire, the final nail in the coffin to take out the Civil War drought kingdom, and the ones whom Logan has fought until his death. Logan remembers that his father passed away early in the war against the Empire, and Ronian, an aura user, was captured and killed by the Empire on the front lines. Back then, the king used Ronian as a distraction while he ran away. That, Logan says, will never happen again. According to his memories, the war against the Empire began in 6 to 7 years, but the kingdom's future has Our Lady changed, thinks Logan as a man runs towards him. And the man tells Logan that he is the commander of the Royal Knights and how he has heard plenty of stories about him. Logan thinks that he cannot predict what effect the chances of the timeline will have on the future. Therefore, he needs to be prepared. Logan then tells the captain that before he meets His Majesty Rogers, he would like to search for any remaining traitors. He then tells the commander that he hopes for his cooperation. Then someone starts yelling to be let go. This person asks Logan if he knows who he is and if he sees the crest of House Douglas on him. Another one tied up says that he is Roran Volterman. He is the 3rd grandson of Lord Jordan Volterman, and he orders Logan to be let go. Logan, however, seems to be disgusted. Word of the battle had reached there 3 days ago, so he thought those involved would have run away already. They must have thought they were immune or something. The commander turns to Logan and tells him that these were all the people who were involved, but the residences of Count Talos and Wolves were empty. The commander suspects they must have run away. Logan thinks about Reena and says that there is no way that Shy Fox would have stayed. Logan then gives the order for the commander to kill all of them. Once they hear this, all of them start begging for their lives, suddenly calling Logan Lord and forgetting about their titles. Some soldiers are even reluctant to do it, hearing them beg like this. However, their begging means nothing to Logan. They cannot be trusted. So the slaughter begins. Logan then asks someone if he has confirmed the deed went through. This is Victor, who tells Logan that he did, and that all the blood relatives of the betrayers are now dead. Logan then tells Victor that the royal palace is next, and Victor doesn't understand what Logan means by that. Logan tells the commander and Count Floyd to bring over the 1st and 2nd prince and their children. Also, the old aristocrats who use the royal place to shelter themselves are all to be brought down there. Count Floyd asks if this is really okay, and if it has been discussed with the Sword Duke. Logan says that this is necessary, and that he will bear all responsibility. The commander of the Royal Knights cannot believe that he is going to kill the royal family, and says that Logan really does as he pleases. Logan, however, thinks that with this, all royal bloodlines unrelated to Roger von Grandia, the 3rd prince, are now gone. Logan thinks that the 2nd prince, whom they are still searching for, bothers him, but it'll only be a matter of time before they can find him. Therefore, the preparations to stop the Empire begin now. The next day, Logan seems to be at the Esperanza residence. The commander lets Logan know that the prince is being escorted by the Sword Duke, so he will be there soon, and Logan thanks him. Then the commander realizes that Logan is a student of the Sword Duke. Why is he asking him to be his guide? At this point, the commander thinks it will seem like the Royal Knights work for him. Then the doors of the estate open from within. Knights and expensive armor are coming out. At a balcony, the 3rd prince exits to see Logan, Victor, Ronian, and Eileen. The 3rd prince then tries to say something, but it seems he shies away. Logan looks up at him, and the prince looks down at Logan. The prince is at a loss for words after being placed in the spotlight to help him. Logan goes down on one knee. He then states his name and title, and says that he greets His Highness Roger von Grandia with him. The others also fall to their knee and address Roger as His Highness. The prince is still at a loss for words, formally addressing Logan as Lord. Logan then raises his head and says that he has finally fulfilled the promise he has made to the prince, and that he is sorry for coming so late. Then the prince thinks about Logan's promise. He starts laughing and says that he never thought Logan would keep his promise like this. He looks Logan in the eyes and tells him that he has done well. The commander cannot believe the respect with which the prince is presenting Logan. Logan then gets up from the ground and tells the prince that they should go. He will be the one escorting the prince to the palace. The prince looks like he is dreaming. Then they are all heading towards the gate of the estate. Somewhere in the forest, 2 people are talking. The prince tells someone that this is not the way to the palace. To this, the person replies that he never told the prince they were going to the castle. The man then takes out a hidden blade and tells the prince to follow him. The prince gets scared. This person seems to be Lucian, who is now approaching the prince, while he is asking Lucian what he's going to do. As Lucian approaches, the prince starts screaming, trying to stop him. However, it seems like Lucian does not care about him anymore. As blood flows to the ground, Lucian says that things really went out of hand. As he wipes his knife, he says that he expected the fall of the second prince. But Logan McLain did what was most unexpected. Lucian then throws his cloth to the ground and says that his mission ends here. He goes on his way through the forest and says that he is looking forward to his reward. I have no idea if I'm right or not, but I am 99% sure this guy is some kind of empire spy or royalty because he is too smart to be some simple count. Next, it seems like some carriages are coming to the palace. A meeting of sorts has been established. It seems that this has been Logan's doing, calling all the nobles to the capital for this meeting, and some of them are calling him cocky for it, while others say someone should hold their tongue. One noble says that the McLains have taken out nobles and even royalty for being treasonous, while another one says that he knows he is being trusted by the next king, but he feels they are going a little too far. Some other guy then says that for those of them that have kept neutral is really not that bad. Either way, they are all neutral, just like McLain has been. He then says that they've all suffered stuck between those two sides, so surely there's something in for them, while the other think that they haven't done anything for the third prince either. After that, one guy loudly steps into the room. He announces the coming of Lord Logan McLain. He then remains posted by the door while it is opening to the outside. Logan then steps in. Seeing him, all the nobles have gone quiet. Logan thanks everyone for showing up after such short notice. He tells everyone that the reason everyone was called there today was to create a new government. Spirits rise and people become increasingly more interested. Count Floyd joins in the discussion and tells Logan that driving out the traitors and creating a new country is all thanks to him. They will all trust him to do the right thing. No one could ever think to supersede Logan, says Count Floyd. The other nobles also join in and say that they have no doubts about Logan's recommendations, and that they will all do as he wishes. Hearing everyone's thoughts, Logan thinks that they are all really kissing his ass, and that this is exactly what he intended. Then he tells everyone to let him speak his mind first. A man goes around handing envelopes with the candidates' names, and Logan tells the nobles to speak up if they have any objections. Seeing the names, one of them starts sweating. It appears that Logan has thought really hard about that selection, and it seems he is very pleased with the selection he has made. The situation of the country is then discussed. The civil war is over, but not everything has been taken care of. It took over a week just to clean up the battlefield, and the Sword Duke who oversaw everything took another week to return to the capital, Grand. And not long after he returned, a coronation, the culmination of all efforts, happened. The Archbishop Crimson Matthew comes into scene, speaking about how the coronation ceremony of the 42nd King of Grandia, the 1,000-year kingdom, begins now. One young lord and his father are watching this event, with the young lord being impatient, and the father telling him to pay great attention, as he is their house's heir. He then tells his son to look right of the throne in particular, as there are two people he needs to pay attention to the most. The key figures in this civil war are standing on chairs next to each other. Logan and Felix. The youngster says that he knows who they are. The Sword Duke and his student, and even someone like him with no training, can still feel their immense power. The Lord says that those two are the new centers of power, so they need to make a good impression on them. Then he prompts his son to look to the other side. They are the newly appointed ministers, the first one of them being Count Floyd. The new prime minister is the father-in-law of Logan McLain. All the other ministers are on his side as well. A young man asks his father if this is really okay, as he is sure the nobles must have spoken out against that. But the father poses a good question. Who would dare? Those were the orders of that Knight of Blood, which seems to be Logan's new nickname or title. Felix then asks Logan if he has heard that discussion. Felix continues saying that they have called him the Knight of Blood, and Logan tells Felix that he doesn't need to listen to everything they say. Felix then asks why he shouldn't, as it's the name Logan has made for himself, but it's clearly not one he desired. Logan then lets down his head and tells Felix that he didn't think he should have bloodied Felix's hands with everything. Felix does not agree and says that there are only excuses, but it's fine, as Logan is at least aware of what he has done. Felix turns his head and says that people always change, like he has changed to protect him. Logan says that he is truly sorry about that, but Felix says he has nothing to be sorry for since it was his choice as well. Yet Logan must be aware of the man he has become. If he forgets, then the path towards becoming a monster will open. Felix continues saying that Logan might become just like Jordan, who died in his arms. And Logan assures Felix that he will keep that in mind. Even so, Logan still has something to ask his master. He asks if something has happened between Felix and the Archbishop. As Felix is staring at him like he is about to commit murder, Felix then tells Logan that he is just an annoying man, but Logan cannot believe it. Felix then tells Logan that the Archbishop wishes for Stella to be sent to the church, which catches Logan by surprise. Logan then realizes that this must be because of what happened at the ceremony. Felix tells Logan that this is nothing he needs to be worried about, as while he is with the church he cannot force a duke to do anything. Then he says that what matters the most here is the coronation. As the third prince walks in, he looks majestic. The Archbishop then presents the prince with his crown. Looking at it, Roger's eyes light up. The crown shines so bright it's basically glowing. All of the nobles are staring at it. Logan calls it the crown of a regent, a fifth-class artificate only bestowed upon the descendants of Grandia. As the Archbishop goes to place the crown on Roger's head, he kneels. The whole room then lights up. Roger von Grandia is the new king of the Grandia kingdom. It looks like the light of the crown has turned into mana and found its way to the prince. Logan saw this while meeting the previous king, but he couldn't tell because he wasn't trained enough. There is a high-ranking protection magic on the crown. With such power in the crown, it should have been difficult for the king to be assassinated so easily. Logan wonders if maybe it wasn't the Empire's doing. As he is sitting on the throne, Roger says that for the glory of the new chapter of Grandia, he will reward the servants of the king who have served. He then prompts Sir Logan McLain to step forward. Logan does and kneels before Roger. He goes on to say that Sir Logan, who stands before him, is the hero who has slain the traitor Jordan Valterman. He is also a pillar of the kingdom, following thee in the path of Felix Esperanza. Even so, he rates Logan's tactics much higher than his physical might. Logan is about to lose all the air in his lungs. The king goes on saying that Logan had foreseen the misfortune that would befall his nation years prior. He took down the corrupt nobles and promised him the crown. Logan, however, thinks that he has almost messed up countless times, even while he knew the future. Though the king continues saying that Logan has served the nation dutifully, and he shall reward Sir Logan McLain and the House McLain rightfully so. First, he will receive half the territories taken from Marquis Kalia, and half the territories taken from Marquis Kale. Besides that, there is one more thing. He restores the previous titles and honors of the House McLain and orders a promotion to the level of a Marquis. Furthermore, the king awards Logan McLain the title of Count separately from the promotion of House McLain. The king then says that he is present there thanks to him. Therefore all the subjects of the land are to treat Logan as they would him. Logan cannot believe it. Logan basically starts crying, hearing how far the king is going for him. After everything that has happened, the nobles cannot believe the amount of gratitude and gifts Logan is receiving, half of the Kalia and Kale territories, and also a promotion at the same time. Besides, Logan is also going to receive a separate countship for himself. And the most important thing, which probably scared most of the nobles, the king has ordered everyone to treat Logan as if he were the king himself, which seems to be the biggest reward Logan has actually received. After hearing everything the king had to say, Logan turned towards his master. Felix is sweating, wondering what the heck is going on there, speaking through looking at each other. Logan shakes his head, wanting to say that he did not think he would receive this much either. The king then speaks and tells Logan that he would have loved to do more for him if he had the means, but he is apologetic. This was all he could do. What more would he want to do? Give him the royal palace. The king then asks Logan if there is anything else he wants to ask for, which leaves the nobles with their mouths open. Logan looks away and thinks about it. He then tells the king that he has a small wish, and the king immediately tells him to speak his mind. Logan says that even though his house is one of the Marquis now, it's excessive to receive both the territories of Kalia and Kale. Logan worries that this won't be a good precedent for their future descendants, and the king agrees. The king then tells Logan that he is in the wrong, as rewarding the greatest contributor to their nation with only one title would be an even worse precedent. Logan then smirks and says that if this is the king's wish, he will obey. Then he says that he would wish for the Terran lands, currently in the middle area of their kingdom. The king is unsure why Logan would want that. Even the nobles wonder why Logan would want those barren plains with the closed mines. The king tells Logan that the territory he wishes for was indeed the center of their mining industry, but that was 200 years ago. He asks Logan if he wants those lands, which are not even close to his territory. And Logan says that he does. The king asks Logan if he wishes to make him look bad, but Logan replies that he is worried that the excessive rewards the king gave him might harm his image. Of course, in reality, Logan is asking this for a reason. Even so, it's not bad to leave a good impression of being humble. The king then says that he understands Logan's wishes, but he is not okay with just this. Therefore, he will also bestow upon McLain the upper lands of Kalia. the area that connects the Terran region and McLain. Logan thinks that this wouldn't be bad for some extra income. Logan bows his head and says that he will receive the king's kindness with gratitude and thinks that his people should be happy with this. Then the other rewards were handed out quickly to Duke Felix. Esperanza was given the title of Archduke and awarded the lands of Dukes Talos and Cherno to be incorporated into the new Archduke's lands. Felix thanks the king, but Logan thinks that his face doesn't seem that happy. Logan then says that he has barely managed to convince Felix to receive this, as he is so far away from being greedy. This was also a strategic move, as Logan says that with all the Marquises out of power, if the Empire declares war, they would be defenseless without Felix protecting the western border. Logan says he is sorry, but Felix is the only one he could trust with this task. On top of that, Felix will receive one more honor, the king says, as he is still inexperienced. Felix will be appointed as a royal advisor to the court. Felix is taken by surprise. He turns towards Logan, visibly unhappy. Looking towards Logan, he wonders if this was his doing. Once again, Logan turns his head away, wondering who else could be trusted with that position. It seems that the king has noticed Felix's looks and calls his name. Felix clenches his fist tightly and says that he appreciates the position. Logan starts sweating and says that he should get out of there as soon as possible. The rewards then continued, and even reached the nobles who didn't do anything. Logan, however, thinks that those nobles should view this as an advance payment for their future services. This guy has really become ruthless, as they are receiving the rewards. Some of these nobles even say that they only wish to serve the kingdom. The king then prompts everyone to raise their glasses. This is the way they will bless the beginning of their new grandia. A week-long feast then followed, with everyone having a good time. Everyone in the streets was just praising the king. As Victor and Ronian are strolling the streets, Ronian says that everyone seems pretty happy. He then thinks about Logan, saying how he seemed really tired after the war. But he was all smiles while talking to Patrick, which made Ronian feel relieved. Victor then tells Ronian that Logan is a strong one, so he will be okay. Ronian then tells Victor that he is still family, so there is no way he cannot worry about him. There is something else he wants to discuss. Ronian tells Victor that he is still talking very formally to him, even though he told him to act casual when they are alone. And Victor replies that Ronian is the brother of his master, so this only feels natural. Ronian tells Victor not to worry about that and to go see the festival for themselves. And Ronian tells him to go alone. Ronian then turns his head towards a counter. He says that there are many jewelry items for sale because of the war, stuff that girls would really like, which grabs Victor's interest. Ronian then tells Victor that if he's not coming, he should just tell him what she likes, as he will make her a gift, which seems to annoy Victor. That is when Victor changes his mind and tells Ronian that he will come along. It seems to me that Ronian is learning more things from Logan than he should, like how to manipulate others. Victor seems to be his first victim. Anyway, Ronian is then looking for something when he notices someone in the crowd. He sees Logan and Eileen holding hands. Ronian then calls for them from the crowd, making Victor feel uncomfortable. He even places his hand over Ronian's mouth to stop him. Victor turns his head towards Ronian and nods his head in disapproval. That is when Ronian realizes something. They then run away, but it seems like they were already noticed. Logan asks Eileen if she has also just heard Ronian, but she says she is not sure. Eileen then tells Logan that this is the first outing they've had in a while, so he should forget about work and take a break. And Logan agrees. Strolling through the festival, Logan says that he can't even remember the last time he was able to take a break like this. And Eileen starts laughing at him. Then she notices something. She sees the aura around her sword and she remembers something. She remembers the moment Logan gave her that sword, saying it was not a gift for the Floyd Knight, but for his fiancée Eileen. She thinks that Logan proposed to her that day. Just like that. At first, this engagement was for her to become a knight, but when Logan said to my fiancé, those words made her very happy. She spanks her cheeks trying to get a hold of it, saying that this is not it, and Logan notices. Eileen then thinks that she has accepted his proposal, so they should get married soon, and her father also wants it to happen. That is why she was surprised by the sudden bodyguard mission. But seeing the festival, she wonders if this isn't a mission at all. Maybe Logan actually feels the same way she does. They look so good together. After all the narrating I've done, I hope I will at least get a wedding invitation. During their walk, it looks like Logan wants to tell Eileen something to Eileen. He asks her if it's not uncomfortable to be in armor all the time, and she says that it's not, and that this is what's expected of a knight. Then Eileen thinks that she should have put on a dress. Then Logan says that he thinks it is right. He then says that what she's wearing is an excellent suit of armor. Hearing that, Eileen blushes. Logan explains that the armor is made with mithril, so it's bound to be of great quality, and it was perfectly made for her, so it's comfortable to wear. Logan then tells Eileen that just as expected, she really is a model knight. and Eileen says that Logan shouldn't go that far and wonders if this is a normal conversation for a date. Short answer, it's not. Then they walk into the shop of a blacksmith and look at a sword. Eileen says that it's of great quality while she thinks about this date. While it might not be normal since none of them is anyway, catching an assassin on a date is surely nothing short of abnormal. Eileen says she is having so much fun. In the evening it seems we're back at the estate. Logan says that they've arrived home and Eileen can't believe it. Then she says that she didn't mean it the wrong way. Then Eileen addresses Logan, calling him by his title Lord. She asks if he didn't by chance forget anything, and he asks what, wondering if this is about money or something. Then Eileen, like any woman, clarifies some of it, asking that Logan might have perhaps forgotten to tell her something, but the stupid doesn't catch on. He might be a master strategist and a great swordsman, but it seems he might be Dutchy with women. However, after 1,000 years it seems like he catches on. Or so I thought, because Logan then tells Eileen to forgive his lack of manners and apologizes for making her stand guard during a festival. This is definitely not what Eileen expected to hear. He tells Eileen that he will make sure she gets some days off later, and that she should head back and rest for now. But he doesn't stop there. He even tells Eileen that it will probably be best if she enjoys the festival with friends and family as well. Eileen leaves without saying a word while the clueless man asks her where she is going. She stops in her steps and reiterates Logan's question with a maniacal expression on her face. She tells Logan that she's going to clock out, and by the look on Logan's face, I believe that he has finally caught on to the fact that he has done something wrong. Then Eileen runs towards the estate, leaving Logan to look at her from behind. Right now, drop me a comment with what you think will happen next between these two. Logan finally wonders if he has done something wrong while Victor and Ronian are watching the scene from behind. Then they both run towards him, with Ronian realizing that Logan is in trouble. In the morning, it seems like a discussion is taking place at the Esperanza estate. By the looks of it, Logan told Felix what he did, and he is just as mesmerized as any of us, asking Logan if he really has no idea what he did wrong. Logan replies to Felix, telling him that he thought about it all night, but he hasn't got a clue. Felix lets his head down and says that even he wasn't this obtuse in his youth. Then he tells Logan that he needs to remember Eileen is still his fiancée and says that this is enough. He tells Logan that it's time to raise his sword. He tells Logan that he will help him overcome his weakness, and Logan says that he is ready. Logan says that in this civil war he has had many strong opponents and had fierce battles, and in that process he's seen what remains to be achieved beyond using aura. But seeing alone is different from surpassing it itself. He needs the help of another. And Felix tells him that if he can withstand the aura now, he has grown. Then he tells Logan that he has done a good job so far. Then, grabbing his sword tighter with a crazy grin on his face, Felix tells Logan that now he will make him put in some work. Logan realizes that he is in way over his head. He tells Felix to wait, addressing him as master. As Felix menacingly approaches him, he asks Felix if they are still training, but he doesn't reply with a single word. Then, with a killer expression on his face, Felix attacks from the sides. Felix's servant tells his daughter to stand out of the way. Later, Logan fell to his knees. However strong he might have been, he couldn't even leave a scratch on Felix. With the training room destroyed in the background, Logan apologizes to Felix for any trouble he might have put him through during the coronation. And Felix says that he has no idea what Logan is talking about. Logan raises his head from the ground and tells Felix that he just wanted someone trustworthy by the king's side. Felix gets even angrier with what I strongly believe might be actual flames around him and not just aura, and tells Logan that he pulled him out of retirement without even discussing it with him first. Logan then turns his gaze away. Felix then looks down at Logan. Then he thinks that what Logan said was better than an excuse. He then tells Logan that they will stop there for today, and Logan thanks him. He then asks Logan when he will be returning to McLain, and Logan says that he will do so as soon as the festival ends. Felix says that this is really soon and asks if he will be leaving his men behind, and Logan tells him that he will bring everyone with him. Felix then tells him that the king has placed his faith in Logan, and it would be good to leave a few knights to help guard him. Logan tells Felix to stop gauging him like that. Logan then says that he hoped the Knights of Esperanza would do that. Felix says that this is just great, and he told Logan not to be greedy, so he cannot suggest anything more. Then Logan says that he has just one thing to ask of Felix, and Felix asks what that is. He tells Felix to start preparing for the Empire's invasion immediately, which leaves Felix astounded. He says that Logan suspects the Empire of the previous king's death, but to prepare immediately. He asks Logan if he really believes the Empire will attack, and he says that he does. Felix says that the Empire is currently undergoing an internal struggle of its own. They said it would take at least 5 years to settle, and the Empire hasn't attacked any country during that period of time. Logan says that while this is true, they have countless records of invading other nations after they've had a new emperor. Felix stays silent and thinks about it. He tells Logan that he doesn't have to worry so much. As long as he is in charge of half of the western border, they will be prepared. Logan thinks that Felix was prepared in his past life as well, but still failed. Now they are in a better place than they were before. Therefore, Logan thinks that there is no reason for him to push any further there, as they have the same goals. So, Felix's sword points in the same direction as his. Felix then tells Logan to come to the capital more often. He then says that he is the advisor to the king, but he doesn't want to be busy at this age. Logan tells Felix that he thought Felix wanted him to be a little more distant from power. Felix explains that he just didn't want Logan to change, and if he doesn't, he is sure Logan will be a good servant to the king. Logan wonders if that is really true, and while it would be embarrassing to say so himself, he is currently more powerful than even the king. Then he wonders how many kings could tolerate a subject that's more powerful than they are. King Roger, who is predicted to be a great king, must soon realize his potential. Felix then tells Logan to continue with his training, but Logan says he thought they were finished. Felix then said that he did say that, but since Logan is leaving so soon, he must get as much out of him as possible and start reigniting his aura. Logan's reaction is totally valid. Felix then tells Logan to keep at it even after he returns home. If he does, Felix says he is sure Logan will continue to evolve. Logan smiles. The next morning, in a discussion with his father, Patrick goes to tell Logan something. He tells him that he is not allowed to train or work. Logan doesn't know what his father means. He looks terrified, actually. It seems like the cause of his father's sudden restriction goes back a few days. It seems like the rumors started pouring in that the McLains are leaving the capital. The nobles start talking about how there's not a single knight left behind and wonder why they would gather all that power and do this. Another one then says that Logan's father-in-law is the prime minister, and his master is the Sword Duke. They then realize that the relationship between Logan McLain and the king might be deeper than initially thought. Next, it seems we are in the camp at night. Logan is reading a letter from someone saying how they would consider it their greatest honor if Logan could stop while passing by their lands. And Logan wonders if this person is insane, wondering why they would want 1,000 soldiers within their land. Logan then throws the piece of paper on the fire and says that it's not worth reading. After that, one soldier tells another to get some sleep, and the other replies that he is on guard duty. Overhearing this, Logan thinks that maybe he should have stopped once to let them rest while someone comes and tells Logan that he seems tired. This is Eileen, wondering if Logan is worried about something. Seeing her, Logan wonders what happened. Eileen didn't even look straight at him for a while and wondered if she was feeling better. Logan thinks that he doesn't know what it is, but he shouldn't worry Eileen, and so he tells her that it's nothing and it's not even worth bothering her over. And Eileen gets mad again. She turns her back on Logan and says that he doesn't have to bother her at all. And Logan wonders if he messed up again. Eileen then tells Logan that if he keeps looking so concerned, his soldiers will end up tense as well. She looks Logan in the eyes and tells him that she doesn't know how far ahead he is planning everything into the future, but he should also look at the ones by his side now. Eileen then excuses herself and leaves. Suddenly, Logan grabs her hand. Eileen blushes. She turns around to find Logan on one knee, and she addresses him as Lord while Logan goes on to say something. I think this might be the moment we are all waiting for. Logan says that he thinks he's regretting it a bit. Maybe he should have pushed himself to enjoy the festival more, or see the sights in the capital. All those small regrets amounted to something else. All those small regrets, Logan says. He wants to spend them with Eileen. Logan then gets a hold of himself. He then wonders what the hell he just said. Then he sees how happy Eileen is. With a tear dropping from her right eye, Eileen tells Logan that he should have just said so, calling him a dummy. She steps in, telling Logan to do more once they are back. This time together, whatever that might be, as long as they are together. Then Eileen closes her eyes and leans in towards Logan. Logan leans in as well, and the tension is palpable. Not even mere inches away, their soft lips are about to conquer the distance between their souls and create a bridge of love, or so I thought. But their armors are just enough to stop them as their chest plates bump into one another. I might murder one of the writers. With Logan red as a bird, he says that Eileen's armor is quite marvelous. She then leans in again and this time kisses Logan on the cheek. As she pulls away, she gracefully glazes Logan's hand and index finger. She then wishes Logan a good night. Then she rushes to get to her tent once again, leaving Logan standing there and looking after her. It seems that he is also mesmerized, as the only thing he can do is touch the place where Eileen kissed him. Back at the McLain estate, our most trusted coin master, Dwayne, is raising a glass, or rather a pint of wine, to celebrate the return of their heroes home. And so, with everyone gathered around the room, all raise their pints. Rick tells everyone to step aside as the pride of McLain, Lord Count Logan McLain, has returned home, and Logan tells him to stop it. Dwayne then tells Rick that the side is no slouch either. He then points towards Patrick and tells everyone to pay their respects to the new Marcus, while Patrick tells him that he is drunk. Patrick then gets up and says that this is enough and that there is someone else everyone should all pay respect to. Patrick then looks towards the other end of the room where Viscount Hankl is. Hankl, with half his head bandaged and one missing arm, smiles and looks towards Patrick. Such a sorry sight to see, but this man is a hero. Hankl laughs and tells Patrick that he flatters him. Looking at him, Logan smiles. Walking through the castle, Logan tells Hankl that he heard he woke up while he was in the capital, and also that Hankl has retired. Hankl says he is thankful for that. All was thanks to Patrick with his new power as a marquis. Logan said that Patrick also intended to give him land, but Hankl said it was too much back then. He thought he would have been okay with dying if it helped increase the chances of McLain's victory just a little bit. With some luck, he says he survived and McLain was victorious. So what else could he have asked for? Logan said that it wasn't just a little bit of luck. If Hankl had not wounded Jordan Valterman, then he wouldn't have been able to defeat him. Hankl laughs, saying that this is great to hear. Hankl then asks Logan if he knows his father's dream, but Logan seems to be unaware of it. Hankl then tells Logan that he wants to regain the lost glory of McLain's past. This is what Patrick always used to say, and it was Hankl's dream as well. Logan then looks at Hankl, wondering what he thinks. He stops in his tracks and says that thanks to Logan, his wish is satisfied, and he wants to dream even bigger. Logan is amazed. Hankl goes on saying that he can no longer serve as a knight without an arm in the force, but he can still teach new soldiers. So he asks Logan to please appoint him as his training officer. Hankl tells Logan how he wants to continue dreaming by Logan and Patrick's side. I know I've said that before, but I must say it again. This is enough to make a grown man cry. Logan tells Hankl that there is no issue. He then tells him that whatever dreams they may be, he will see more than he wanted. The next day, Logan and Patrick are talking. Logan told Patrick about what Hankl said last night, and Patrick calls him a little rascal and says he is so serious for no reason. Logan says that this is true, but he sees it now as well. Logan says that he will head down to the town immediately since he needs to take care of work and continue training. Patrick, however, doesn't seem to be happy about what he hears. Patrick says that he is asking this just in case, but he wonders if Logan dislikes him or the people there. Logan doesn't understand what his father means. Patrick says that other people can take care of the war's aftermath, and Logan replies by telling him that while this is true, it would be more satisfying for him to take care of it, as he also has a plan in mind. Patrick then asks Logan if that plan is so urgently in need of attention to worry those around him by endlessly working. Given what Patrick said, it seems like this is not a discussion anymore, but a parent giving his kids some good advice. Patrick gives his ultimatum, telling Logan that there will be no training and no working for a week from now. He then tells Logan that if he even tries to do something, he will leave him out of all family matters for the foreseeable future. Logan asks Patrick what he means while Patrick tries to take him out of his office, saying that this is all for his own good and tells him to go get some rest. Suddenly, someone can be seen running towards them. This person calls for Patrick. This is Dwayne, and when he sees Logan as well, he says that this is great timing. But Patrick tells him to stop and not say another word. Dwayne says that this is urgent, and Logan gets in front of his father and tells Dwayne to speak. Logan is waiting for Dwayne's news. While Patrick seems to be prepared to mess him up, Dwayne then tells them that he has no idea what's going on there, but they should listen to what he is about to say. He has a message from Kalia, Dwayne says. And both Patrick and Logan leave their childish behavior aside, with Logan asking if Dwayne means Kalia, as in Wiccan Kalia. Dwayne then confirms, saying that 200 ones of Kalia, including their knight commander, have come to the McLain. They have requested a transfer under Logan's command. On the day of King Roger's coronation, the punishment for the losing side was decided. Most got off with a fine or an imposed limit on troops, but nobody expected the two marquises to survive, and the king also exceeded all their expectations. King Roger said that the two marquis would have found it particularly difficult to disobey any orders from the dukes, so he would specially pardon them from death, demote them to counts and take half of their lands. All the nobles are astounded. Besides, the two former marquis will serve the Esperanza Knight Order for 10 years. Logan looks towards Felix, and he says that he is already aware. Felix lets his head down and says that the two of them were only influenced by the greed of Jordan and Juan, and that they're not greedy, and those with such powers are national assets, so it would be a shame to lose them like this. And Logan thinks that certainly they will need everyone at their disposal to fight against the Empire, but to think even the greatest knight of Kalia would come too. Wiccan Kalia is sure to be displeased. Patrick then asks Dwayne how many have come, and Dwayne goes on to say 201 is the total number, which leaves both Patrick and Logan astounded. Logan says that this is almost double their own number of knights, and Patrick says that it will be troublesome having that many, including their special knights, as it will make it harder to integrate everything. This is the moment Logan gets an idea. Logan says that this might not be as difficult as they think, and Patrick asks if he has a solution. Then he starts explaining it to Patrick. It looks like Logan has summoned all of them to the training grounds of the estate and now presents himself. He says that he assumes everyone knows him. The crowd replies affirmatively. One man huffs. This is the ex-commander of the Kalia Knight Order, the advanced knight Jorge, who is happy that the formal knight training has begun. However, Jorge seems to have discussed this whole thing before going with Kalia. Wiccan seems unhappy while talking to Jorge in his chambers. Wiccan was the one who suggested to Jorge to leave and go to McLain and leave his weak master. Jorge only thinks about his master still and says that in order to pay back his grace and not dishonor the title of Knight Commander of Kalia, he will become an important man here at McLain. While Logan tells everyone that they will have the first training session of the new McLain Knights, they say that they will start with a casual McLain greeting first. It seems like the Knights don't know what to expect. It looks like they have been submitted to the Logan McLain Knights training, carrying each other on the back like a horse, then climbing the side of the mountain while one McLain Knight awaits at the top. When he gets to the top, the McLain Knights spit in his face. With this, Jorge is left on the ground. He wonders if these guys are messing with him. He realizes that it can't be, as everyone has received the same training, and asks if these bastards do this every day. This must be the reason others say that medium knights of McLain can be a threat to even high-ranking knights elsewhere. Logan says that now, since the greeting is over, the Kalia Knights will be taught the Iron Blood Sword, which is a medium-skill sword technique of the McLain Order. Logan says that everyone will have a McLain Knight instructing 2 of them at a time, and to treat them as their personal master as they learn from them. Jorge says that an advanced knight like him will surely be taught by a noble, and that this is an opportunity for him to learn. Jorge then turns around to see his master and says that it's nice to meet him. His teacher will be Henderson, a high-ranking knight who says he is pleased to meet Jorge. It seems like Jorge was taken by surprise earlier. Logan specifically called Henderson to him. Logan tells him that he should have talked to him sooner, and Henderson asks what he means. Logan says that he has heard Henderson became a high-ranking knight in the last war. Henderson says that this is right and that he got pretty lucky, and Logan tells him that he is sorry, and that the news caught him really off guard, and says that he thought those 3 would reach that level first, most likely referring to Eileen, Victor and Ronian. Henderson said it's nothing, as he also thought the same way. He goes on to say that those 3 actually caught up to his 15 years of training in just a couple of years, and he is sure all of them will become high-ranking knights soon. Logan said that still Henderson was the first one to reach it, so he should feel proud. Besides, Logan says that he is very well respected, and that everyone voted for him to become the next Knight Commander, but Henderson says he is not sure he deserves it. Logan then poses a challenge. With all that said, he asks Henderson between him and Jorge who he thinks the next Knight Commander should be. This was something Henderson surely didn't expect. Next, it seems like Jorge is training. His breath is almost gone after learning the technique. Henderson praises Jorge, saying that he has gotten so far in just 10 days, saying it's amazing. Jorge then looks behind him and grabs his sword tighter. He thanks Sir Henderson, saying it's all thanks to his teachings, but Henderson says it's only thanks to the work Jorge has put into it. Jorge asks Henderson why he is so kind to him, but Henderson says he is just following orders. Jorge then says he was Henderson's opponent not long ago. Henderson says that only 30 people among the order are truly from McLain, and that the others joined after just as Jorge has. Jorge lets his gaze drop, saying that he is ashamed, but he thought he would receive a major position there right away. Henderson tells him that it's quite possible since he is an advanced knight, saying that their lord thinks quite highly of talented people. Jorge then says that he wants to know how Henderson feels about it, but it seems that takes him by surprise. He asks Henderson if he is not opposed to this, and Henderson says that a knight follows orders and that his thoughts do not matter. He doesn't care which way they go as long as their knights become stronger. Then he stands there all cheerful and smiling like a saint. Jorge wants to say something but stops at the last second. He then bows down and says that he, Jorge, commanded by his lord, swears to follow Sir Henderson as his superior knight. Henderson is not sure what to say. He asks Jorge what he is doing while also looking at the other knights on the training field. Looking from a balcony, Logan says that it seems like the Knights of Kalia will fit right in. Logan tells his father that they also have their new knight commander, and Patrick says that Henderson is a great knight. But even so, Patrick says that he always thought of Ronian as their next commander. He tells Logan that if he takes over the house it would be more suitable for his brother to handle his army. And Logan thinks about how he never thought about taking over. That is the moment Logan tells Patrick that he intends to have Ronian take over Patrick's title. Patrick cannot believe it. It seems he is almost upset. Patrick asks Logan what he's talking about, and he says that Ronian is perfectly qualified for it. But Patrick does not agree, saying that Logan has done so much for the family until now. Logan then tells Patrick that he is aiming for something even bigger. Patrick asks Logan what he is talking about, but but Logan tells him he cannot disclose it right now, but he will understand in the future. He says that just as before, everything will become clear, and Patrick asks him what he is planning on now. While someone eavesdrops on their conversation, Patrick says he doesn't understand, as the person behind the wall clenches his fist, but Logan says he will soon. This person listening in was none other than Ronian, who now wonders if he is getting in the way of his brother's future. Later in Patrick's study, Patrick tells Logan that now, since the problem with the knights has been taken care of, Logan needs to go get some rest. But once again it seems like Logan is reluctant. Patrick tells him to take a break, asking Logan if he is really going to pretend that nothing happened, and Logan laughs, saying he's not. But of course, with Logan there is a bit that Patrick doesn't even want to hear. Logan tells his father that there are a lot of problems that need to be taken care of there, so they should first hold a meeting. He then assures his father that after that he will take a vacation. It looks like once again Patrick folded and a meeting has been called. Patrick grabs the marble rail with one hand and tells everyone that now the first McLain general meeting will commence. Logan speaks, saying that with the war over, their house has been elevated, so they now have lots of new changes to sort out, so they should discuss them and slowly figure them out. Then someone raises their hand. This is Clayton, saying he has made progress on the research direction Logan proposed earlier, so they need some funds to continue. Hamar then speaks as well, saying that he needs more men in the workshop. To increase crossbow production, he needs at least 3 times as many staff as they have now. Dwayne then shouts, saying that what they need most right now are more people in admin, as they cannot handle the office work. Hearing them, Patrick thinks that they all seem like important decisions. Logan then thinks that he must take each of them one by one. First, the research by Clayton, which regards the coronet. He asked about infusing ordinary metal with magic. Once that research is complete, they can start mass-producing artifacts. Second is Hamar's workshop. Everyone in the kingdom knows about their crossbows, so they need to prepare to mass-produce and sell them. But they cannot handle that volume with the current number of people. So they need more dwarves in their workforce. With the consecutive awards and victories, their territories have grown massively. Logan thinks that they have 20 castles alone, so they need more people. Logan asks if there are any other requests, and he sees someone's hand about to raise. It's Ronian's hand, it appears. Ronian wants to say something, but it looks like words are not coming out, and Logan tells him that he can speak up. Ronian says that with their increased reputation, they've gained a lot more merchants and refugees in their lands, but with that also came burglaries and thievery as well. The nobles realize that Ronian means they need security, and say that they've heard how their soldiers have been having trouble. Therefore, Ronian proposes to revise some of their rules. It seems like this would be a very bold move, as no one was expecting that proposition, not even Logan. Ronian proposes that instead of having their soldiers take care of security, they could create a special security force to take care of it. They could therefore use older soldiers and retired knights at the helm, and say that he thinks there would be a good change in their policies to handle security. Hearing what Ronian proposed, Logan is really proud to see how Ronian has come up with a strategy employed by large cities in the Empire on his own. Logan then tells Ronian that it is a really good idea and that they will implement it. Logan tells Ronian to take care of it and says that he thinks it would be more successful if Ronian begins by taking over a castle himself. Ronian wants to say that he will do his best, but then a second later his enthusiasm dies. Logan notices this and wonders what is up with him. He looks down at Ronian with his eyes on the floor and wonders why he looks so down today. Logan then decides that he will have to talk with him later. Logan then says that they should talk about issues with the administration next. Logan says that it wouldn't be difficult to recruit more people, but asks Dwayne how many they would need exactly, and Dwayne says that they would need around 30. Philip then jumps in, saying that they should be ready to work immediately. Dwayne then says that there is one more thing. As Logan already knows, the people in that room are people he can already trust. Therefore, Dwayne proposes that they pick the persons that will take care of each castle from among themselves. Patrick realizes what that means. Dwayne wishes for the castellations to be picked right then and there. Patrick tells Dwayne to suggest someone, and he asks if he can suggest himself. Patrick laughs and tells him that of course he can, as he will stay there and command everyone else. Someone else then raises their hand. Damien says he has another idea that could work. They could have nominations, but they would first need clear guidelines for this to work. Damien proposes to send knights first to the new castles in Kalia and Terran, which makes Logan and Patrick wonder why they would do that. Damien goes on explaining that new territories, especially ones that were hostile to them, are sure to have pushback at first, so they could send soldiers as castellations to take care of that, saying that intermediate knights should be enough. Patrick tells Damien that this is a really good idea and that he will take it into account. Logan huffs, thinking of who Damien was in his past life, the strategist of the freedom fighters, now simply being happy that his idea was taken into consideration. It seems so different from his past life, Logan thinks. and so he says that he will have to give him something more important to do soon. Then Patrick says that he will start picking out Castellans based on Damien's idea. So everyone should start suggesting people, and so by a show of hands everyone starts suggesting someone else. Patrick laughs it off, saying that everyone is really eager, and Logan says that they can all be nobles at this point. Patrick happily looks at his crowd of trustees. 3 years ago they had only had one castle, and he could not believe they had grown so much. Patrick then places his hand on Logan's shoulder, saying it's all thanks to him. He looks towards Patrick and smiles. It looks like he is really proud of himself. And who wouldn't be? At the royal palace the sky looks beautiful. Felix is walking the halls of the palace. He then meets with a guard. The king knows who is coming and welcomes Felix inside. With his head bowed, Felix enters the room. He sees the king at his desk writing something. He realizes that he must have been busy working. But then something strikes Felix. It looks like the king is a little red in the cheeks. He has been consuming some alcoholic beverages. Felix asks if he's drinking so early, and the king laughs it off, saying that his uptight sword duke is already chasing him. He picks up the glass and tells Felix to be more relaxed, as that is only to soothe up his nerves. Asking what nerves he is talking about, the king replies that he is remembering his brothers who died, and to commemorate his past. He was living in his brother's shadow, struggling to survive. He finally feels like he earned his freedom, so he should be able to celebrate a little. Felix wants to talk some sense into him, but the king asks him why he came to him, and then a knock on the door can be heard. A guard tells the king that he brought what he has asked for, and Felix turns around to see the king very happy. Then some maids come in. They're all dressed nicely and carry plates of food as if they were about to hold a feast. And I don't think these girls are here only to carry the food either. Felix asks what all of this is, as a butler gives His Majesty the king another drink. As he pours it into his glass, the king acknowledges that Felix has never seen this man before. He tells Felix that this man has worked in the castle previously. He was good at reading people, so he asked him to be his chamberlain. The man then bows, saying that he humbly greets the sword duke. He then introduces himself as Cleo. Felix looks almost frightened. What in the world is becoming of the young king? In the McLain administrative office, Dwayne is sitting at a desk and the other administrators are sitting around a long table handling some documents. Some of them then look at Dwayne. Fabian gives Dwayne some documents and Dwayne thanks him, praising his work. It looks like these documents are about the harvest in Castle Tezran and the building of the wall around the town, which Dwayne was expecting. All of these people don't really seem to like Fabian. Then some other administrator tells Dwayne to wait a moment. The man tells him that there was a small mistake in the budget, so he can use Rohitter's cross-checking method to prevent this in the future. But it looks like Dwayne does not know what that even is. Lockman laughs, saying that he should teach him this, and Dwayne agrees. He praises Fabian and Lockman, saying that even though they are new, they've helped him a great deal. Lockman says that he is thankful to him, and that they should be helpful to their lord for hiring them, and Fabian tells him to let them know if he needs anything. Those guys are the demi-barons, former administrators of Douglas and Valterman. The other administrators don't look happy at all. Later, in a tavern, someone slams a pint of beer on the table, clearly unhappy. They are the 3 administrators from earlier, and one of them asks why they had to hire nobles to help them. They are commoners, as if they will have to suck up to those runs from now on, while the other says that this will probably be the case. One of them says just how happy they were in the meeting from a month ago, after hearing that they would be receiving more people when they had hundreds of applications. They were tired but happy. Their only wonder is why there were only nobles who applied. One of them explains that this happened because their own lands went to ruin because of the war, and the other says he already knew that. However, the worst thing they say is having to watch Dwayne dealing with them. They are nobles, but they still have to work under Dwayne. One of them even thinks that while he doesn't say much, Dwayne surely has it rough. Later, Dwayne seems to be called to Logan's office. He tells Logan that the new people they've hired are doing their part. In fact, he says Lockman and Fabian are better than he is, and Logan asks if that is so. Dwayne then let his gaze drop, clearly ashamed and sad. Dwayne tells Logan that he really thinks so, but Logan simply disregards it, telling Dwayne that this is great and thanks Dwayne for everything, dismissing him. However, Dwayne doesn't leave, yet he stays there looking at the ground. He then gets Logan's attention as he wants to tell him something. Logan asks what it is, but it looks like it's hard for Dwayne to tell him. With a tear or a drop of sweat falling from under his eye, Dwayne speaks his soul. He tells Logan that he wants to retire. Logan is mesmerized as he wasn't expecting this at all. He gets up from his chair almost screaming, asking Dwayne why he would want something like this, and Dwayne tells Logan about it. Ever since Sir Hankl did the same, with his gaze still to the floor, he tells Logan that he thinks it might be time for him to step down. Logan tells him that Sir Hankl is in charge of training the new soldiers now, asking him if he knows that. However, Dwayne says that this is irrelevant to the situation, and that lately he feels like he is past his usefulness. Logan, breaking a sweat himself, wonders what Dwayne even means by that. Dwayne explains that the new men are all better than he is, and for a commoner like him to be above them, it would be unpleasant from an organizational perspective. He then tells Logan that he is sorry. Logan tells Dwayne that it was his mistake for not knowing how he feels, and tells Dwayne that they should stop and think about it for a moment. However, Dwayne is not sure what to say about it. A couple of seconds go by with Logan not saying a thing, and Dwayne looking constantly to the ground. Suddenly, Logan screams, signaling that he has come up with the solution. He tells Dwayne that from now on he will also be a noble, as this solves everything. Hearing it, it is clearly something Dwayne wasn't expecting. Logan walks towards Dwayne, saying that both him and Patrick were too careless, and that the workers who have been by their side throughout the war need sufficient rewards. This was an oversight on their part. Dwayne says he thought Logan already used up all the slots provided by the king, but Logan places his arm around his neck and says that he is sure to give them a couple more positions if he asks, as he surely won't refuse him. Dwayne tells Logan that it feels like this would be an abuse of his power, but Logan tells him it's fine, saying he will take the blame for his loyal workers. Later it seems we are back at the castle. Felix stands outside a door thinking about what just happened. His Majesty explains his drinking by telling Felix that it was all part of a ceremony, and this is the last rite of the 27-fold ceremony. So Felix should just allow him this. Felix says that the 27-fold ceremony is for the 9 gods of heaven, with 3 days dedicated to each god to honor the dead. He asks His Majesty how drinking like this in the middle of such a solemn ceremony is any kind of right. But the king cuts him off that Felix worries too much, and that he cannot control himself. Felix is at a loss for words. He shuts his mouth, clenching his fist, and apologizes to His Majesty. The king then looks at his glass, saying that maybe they've got a little sidetracked, asking Felix why he came all the way there. Felix tells him that he came here to ask what their next move is for the house wolves. He raises his glass with Cleo looking at him with a weird expression as the king says he will address that shortly. He thinks that they have wronged him, but a demotion and leaving them with half their lands should be enough. Once again, it's becoming clearer that Cleo is involved in the king's decisions. As he walks the halls, Felix thinks that the king has been through much, and he is sure he needs time to grieve. Once he is done, he will return to his old self. Or so Felix wants to believe. Then someone comes to tell Felix that a communication from the crown arrived. He asks the man why he is telling him this, and the man goes on to say that it's related to His Majesty. Then Felix understands. He then tells the man to bring him up to speed. At the McLain estate, it seems Logan is communicating with the king through one of those communication channels. Or actually he thought he was. As he was going to greet His Majesty, he sees is actually Felix answering. Seeing him, Felix says that it's been a while and he is clearly not happy about that. Felix tells him that His Majesty is occupied with other matters and to speak with him instead, and Logan asks what's going on. Felix, clearly mad, says nothing, placing his hand on his head. He then continues saying that not yet at least, and Logan asks him what he means by that. Felix tells him not to worry about that and instead tell what he called for, and Logan tells him that it's not much. He then goes on explaining the situation to Felix. Felix understands that Logan only wishes for the title and not lands or other rewards, and Logan says that this is right. Felix tells him that he will talk to the king on this behalf, but he should remember something. This will be the last of the titles he gets to award, and Logan says he understands. Then the communication ends. After that, Logan takes a deep breath and relaxes. He thinks about how Felix acted, how he knows he was supposed to scold him, but he seemed different from usual as he even ended their call without saying goodbye. He thinks that something really happened. Dwayne then bursts into the room, tears in his eyes, basically running towards Logan. He hugs Logan, not understanding how he could do something like this for him. While for Logan, it looks like he doesn't know how to get Dwayne down from him. He then tells Logan that he will serve McLain until his last breath, while once again Logan screams at him to get off him. Later that night, we can see a woman dressed in a white dress. One knight asks her to wait, looking anxious about what is happening. He asks the lady if she is really leaving, saying that if anything happens he might be at fault as she gets inside a carriage, saying that it cannot be helped. She says that their house was lost after the war even as her father knelt in the royal palace for 4 days. But this isn't the end. She says she still has a lifeline. It is none other than Reena, the Lady of Housewolves. In the morning, it seems we are back at the McLain estate. Logan is reading something from a scroll about someone who has done much to contribute to their family. He, of course, talks about Dwayne, saying that for all his hard work he is awarded the title of Baron, signed by His Majesty, Rovers von Grandia. All the administrators are jumping to hug Dwayne as Dwayne, with his eyes overflowing with tears from the emotion, cannot finish thanking Logan for this. Lockman then comes to congratulate him as well. Lord Fabian is behind him, and they are all smiling. Dwayne looks relieved and really thankful. Everyone then goes on cheering for Dwayne as Lockman and Fabian are looking at the scene. Fabian, smiling, says that with loyalty and ability alone, commoners can become nobles. Looking at Logan with a certain calm and pride in his eyes, Fabian tells Lockman that he thinks he did well coming to McLain, and Lockman agrees. Later, it seems like a test of senses is being held. Logan, present for that, says that it's not just administrators but a lot of soldiers' applications as well, and thanks to Eileen's suggestion, they've also started getting female applicants as well. So it's really lively there. Hankl says that after the test suggested by Logan, a lot of their new soldiers began awakening the force. He then says he hopes they will have a lot of good recruits today. Logan then points towards someone, saying he senses a weak force on some of them already. Then Hankl points towards a girl, asking if Logan is talking about her. They both pointed at the same person, which stunned Logan. He cannot believe Hankl is also able to sense the force as well. He is astounded because it's a weak internal force not outwardly displayed, and he thought he was the only one who could sense it. Hankl says that after he lost his force he's gotten quite a bit sensitive to it. He then says that he feels very fulfilled here, as he can tell who will become a knight. Logan thinks about what Hankl said, getting more sensitive to the force after losing it, as he never heard about anything like that even in his past life. He then realizes that it's really rare for a knight to survive losing their force. And if he thinks about it, Hankl is not alone, as he himself experienced something like it before. He died once in his past life, so his force was definitely destroyed, but after regressing he gained a superhuman sense. If he knew how this worked, he could awaken his aura as well. Hankl then sees that Logan has a sharp pain in his head and asks Logan if he is okay. Logan then says that he is all right and he just got dizzy for a second. He then tells Hankl that he will get going now, and Hankl lets him know that he will send a report of the test later. Logan then runs off into the forest. Hankl looks at him and thinks that Logan might have been unwell, but as he is running he sees that his force is stronger than ever. Logan continues running through the forest. As he is doing that, he thinks that he must go to an isolated place because he needs to activate his force now. Suddenly his plans get derailed. He encounters Patrick, asking him where he is in such a hurry. Logan tells him that he was going to train, and Patrick asks if he is going alone. Then Eileen also runs towards them from the forest. Patrick then asks if she is doing the same as Logan, and Logan asks her what's wrong. Eileen tells Logan that among the new female recruiters today there are quite a few good ones. Logan asks if she refers to the tall one, and Eileen says that she does and that there are others as well, while Patrick simply watches. Patrick then asks them if they are always like this, with a somewhat bothered expression on his face. They both look at him, and Logan asks what he means by it. Patrick explains that what he means is that they are a young couple always thinking about work. Then he bluntly asks them when they will get married. Later, near a river, Logan is sitting down with Lux at his side. It looks like he ended up running away from that conversation. He thinks that Eileen is surely mad again as she takes him by surprise, approaching from his rear. However, she doesn't really seem mad, but she is surely blushing. Logan says that he is sorry and that he embarrassed himself. Eileen, however, looks at him smiling. Eileen tells him that it's all right, as she was also surprised, but still she didn't end up running away, and once again Logan apologizes. She then says that she didn't come for any apology, and Logan seems a bit surprised by that. She then asks him when they get married. She then tells him that they should at least decide on a date so that this doesn't happen again, and Logan blushes. Then she posed an even more interesting question, asking Logan if perhaps he didn't want to marry her. Logan loses his demeanor, sweating, and starts to scream that this is not it at all. Realizing this, he stops. He tells Eileen that he is sorry, and she says that what he said is a relief. She then speaks her feelings, saying how she thought she'd just been rejected by her fiancé. Then she brushes her hand through her hair. Logan is unsure of what to say, but I think we can all agree that she is looking at how beautiful the evening light makes her seem. Logan says that Eileen is too good for her and that this is why he thinks this won't work, and Eileen asks why. Logan starts fidgeting, saying that there is so much to do and that it will only get worse. He tells her that he will be busy for 5 to 6 years at least and that he will be a terrible husband. He then tells her how sorry he is. Eileen then goes on to speak, and Logan is not sure what to expect. Eileen once again surprises him, saying that if this is the case he will need someone to help him stabilize. While Logan is busy, she says he will need a stable household to keep it all together. Logan then says that this would be unfair to Eileen, and she asks why that would be. She softly places her hand on his cheek. She says that Logan would be a great husband who is aware of his flaws, and then asks if all that hard work keeping him busy wouldn't surely be for the good of their house. If that is the case, then it's obvious that she will be busy, as well as her knight and her wife. Logan looks at her, fully blushing, unable to get a word out. He then places his hand over hers, saying that he was thinking about it all wrong and that he has been a fool. He then kisses Eileen, their reflection looking at a painting in the clear water of the glossy river, and tells her that he wants to get married. In a carriage, Reena has finally arrived at her destination. She has arrived in McLain and acknowledges how much it has changed. The knight serving her says that they should go back, as Luna has already annulled her engagement with Logan. But it looks like she is not here for Logan. She tells her knight not to worry. As Logan is happily sitting next to Eileen, she tells her knight that Logan wouldn't have forgotten her. At the same time, McLain was building its future. A single topic spread through the capital. Everyone was talking about Count Wolves, the man who had run away during the battle. Now he had returned. He knelt in front of the royal palace while other nobles looked at him with contempt. They whispered that he was the one who fled during the McLain conflict and had now come back shamelessly. When he finally met the king, Count Wolves offered all his family's assets and promised to repent for his mistakes. 3 days later, the royal order was announced. The king accepted the Wolves family's plea. Their rank was reduced from count to viscount. They were given only a small outer territory, and all their wealth was handed over to the crown. The family survived, but they were left as a shadow of what they once were. Back at the McLain estate, which was now full of activity, Reena of the Wolves family waited inside a decorated room. Logan's former fiancée walked back and forth, anxious. She asked her knight, Rockfern, whether she looked pitiful enough while still appearing beautiful. Rockfern told her she looked fine but reminded her that Logan already had a fiancée. He questioned whether this plan would really work. Reena dismissed his worries. She believed Logan could not ignore her just because he was engaged. She recalled how he had followed her since childhood and convinced herself that he still had feelings for her. Otherwise, she thought, Rockfern silently reflected that their family now desperately needed even that amount. Reena then said her father had kept the family alive, and now she would rebuild it in her own way. She decided to rely on the only thing she had left, her charm. Soon, she heard footsteps. Logan was approaching. She steadied herself and prepared to act like a regretful fallen noble. When Logan entered, she immediately noticed he was no longer the boy she remembered. He carried himself like someone who had been through war. She greeted him, but Logan barely looked at her. He was reading a report. Only after finishing did he acknowledge her and say it had been a while. He sat down and apologized for being busy, then asked why she had come. Reena was surprised by his cold attitude. She explained that she had come to apologize for the past and hoped to rebuild relations between their families. Logan's expression sharpened. He asked why Viscount Wolves himself had not come. Caught off guard, Reena said her father had collapsed from overworking. Logan replied that it was unfortunate, but inside, he knew it was simply because her father did not want to bow before him. Logan then said McLain did not need help from the Wolves family and told her she could leave. He returned to his documents as if the matter were already finished. Reena was shocked by how easily he dismissed her. Refusing to give up, she said she still had something to say. Logan told her to be brief since he was busy. She felt anger rising but held it back. Realizing she needed stronger tactics, she claimed she had come to ask for help and began crying. She begged Logan to remember their past and assist her family just once. She believed his reaction meant he was shaken. After wiping her tears, she felt confident that her act had worked. Rockfern, standing behind her, noticed the calculation in her eyes. But Logan was not moved. He was repulsed. Her fake crying reminded him of his past life when she falsely accused him and destroyed his reputation. The memory made his skin crawl. Reena then changed approach and spoke about business. She said that even though their house had fallen, they still had strong trade networks and experience. Logan simply asked what her point was. She confidently proposed selling McLain's new weapons, promising huge profits. At this, Logan laughed coldly. He stood up and told her McLain did not need a middleman, especially not someone from the Wolves family. He turned to leave. Reena panicked and followed him, finally revealing her last card. She said she would marry him, claiming that this would create perfect trust between their families. Logan became visibly irritated. Logan told her that it was enough. Reena hesitated and then asked if this was because of the annulment in the past. She tried to explain herself, saying Douglas had forced her and that she had been a victim of circumstance. She said she could even show documents to prove it. By then, Logan was already near the door. He did not care about excuses or papers. Reena suddenly knelt on the floor and begged him to wait. This time her crying was real. She asked if he truly did not love her. She said that if the problem was his fiancée, she did not mind becoming a concubine. She told him she could do anything if he wanted. She had thrown away all her noble pride. Logan felt disgusted. Watching someone crawl like that made his stomach turn. Then he started laughing. This time it was loud and long. Reena stood frozen in shock as he laughed at her most desperate plea. Logan laughed until tears came from his eyes, not from sadness, but from how absurd everything felt. After calming down, Logan apologized for laughing. He opened the door and told her plainly that he had absolutely no interest in her. He did not even look back. He only told her to take care. Reena was left in despair. She stayed on the floor for a moment, then quietly left with Rockfern, both of them filled with shame. Her eyes were blurred with real tears. Outside, she bumped into Dame Eileen and fell. Eileen quickly apologized and asked if she was all right, offering her hand. Reena, already humiliated, trembled with anger. Being treated kindly by the woman who had replaced her felt like the final insult. She ignored Eileen's hand and stood up on her own, brushing herself off roughly. Eileen was confused by her reaction. At that moment, Logan came out of the room. His expression softened when he saw Eileen. He gently asked if Reena had come looking for him. His tone was warm and affectionate. Reena stopped nearby and listened. Eileen told Logan that it was not that. She said her mother wanted the three of them to have tea together. Logan immediately asked if tomorrow would be fine, saying he could clear his schedule. Eileen told him not to push himself if he was busy, placing her hand lightly on his arm. Logan replied that he was not busy at all and said they were family. Watching this, Reena's anger grew. She realized she would never reclaim that place beside him. With that thought crushing her, she stormed down the hallway and slammed the door behind her. Eileen noticed and commented that Reena seemed spirited. Logan let out a quiet sigh, releasing the tension from earlier. Seeing the document still in Logan's hand, Eileen asked what it was about. Logan looked down at the papers and smiled. Reena's rejection no longer mattered to him. His mind was already on the future. He told Eileen that he planned to create a top merchant guild in McLain. He would build his own network, far greater than anything the Wolves family could ever provide.